Namaste children, welcome in SSC class. Children, look at the picture of Razia Sultan. Do you remember her? Yes. Razia Sultan was the first and the last Muslim lady ruler during medieval period. Children, in our previous class we have started Delhi Sultanate, in which we have learned about the slave or Mamluk dynasty as well as the Khalji dynasty. Children, today we are going to learn about Tughlaq dynasty. After ruling for 20 years, Alauddin died in 1360 CE. His successors could survive only up to 1320, and the last ruler of Khalji dynasty was Khusro. He was defeated and murdered by Ghazi Malik, who took the title of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq and became the Sultan in 1320 CE. Children, let's go to learn the Tughlaq dynasty from 1320 to 1412 CE. So children, in this dynasty we will learn about Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq was the founder of Tughlaq dynasty. He rose from an ordinary position to the high position of a governor of the frontier provinces. He was a great warrior and able administrator. So he was a kind ruler also, because to improve the condition of the peasants means farmers, he even withdraw some of the tax imposed on them. And not only that, children, it is said that he was died in the accident when a pandal set up for his welcome fell on him. So it was very surprising that at that medieval period it is said that it was a result of a conspiracy hatched by his son Zuna Khan for the early occupation of the throne. Now comes the Muhammad Tughlaq or Muhammad bin Tughlaq. After the death of his father Zuna Khan, and his ruling period is up to 1325 CE to 1351 CE. After the death of his father, means after the death of Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, Zuna Khan, who took the name of Muhammad Tughlaq or Muhammad bin Tughlaq, became the Sultan in 1325 CE. He was a learned person, but in medieval history, he was known as a confused ruler. He opposed the interference of ulemas and the matters of state. He took many steps to consolidate the Sultanate. So children, why did he known as a mixture of opposition or a confused character? Let's know about the steps that has been taken by this Zuna Khan or this Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Some of the projects of Zuna Khan or Muhammad bin Tughlaq proved his confusion in the medieval history. First of all, he used to transfer his capital from Delhi to Devgiri, which is 950 kilometers away from Delhi, and at that time there is very few transportation facilities are available. There were no cars or other vehicles for transportation, and that's why it create great hardships to the people who were ordered to change their house or change their living, because the capital was changed to Delhi to Devgiri. And Devgiri is, as we have learned or seen in our previous map also, कि Delhi is in the northern upper part, and just after Gujarat up to southern part, you will see the Devgiri that has been changed from Delhi to Devgiri. The capital was changed. So after 5 years, he ordered a retreat. Means again he ordered that Delhi once again became the capital of the Sultanate. So it again create even greater hardships to the people who shifted with their with all their livings and occupation to Devgiri. So it created a greater hardships to the people, but it was the order of the Sultan, so that people used to shift again from Devgiri to Delhi. So it was a very confused step of the Sultan. The next step of the Sultan was, he again he want to increase his military powers, and that's why Muhammad bin Tughlaq ordered the people to increase the taxes. So the people who were living in the Doab area, those people have to pay tax up to 50% of the total produce. So these are the steps taken by him, which are not totally accepted by the people. So the farmers who lived in that area used to left their land, and the land became barren because of the higher tax imposed on the farmers or on the people. So in this way, this project was also became faced an utter failure, and that's why again he ordered not to pay the tax. When he realized his mistake, then not only he withdrew his orders, but also extended help to the farmers to resume their cultivation. So these are the steps taken by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So first step was to transfer the capital from Delhi to Devgiri, and the second step was to increase his military powers, the imposition of the tax in Doab area up to 50% of the total produce. Now comes the third project, and the third project is also not less than the upper two. That is the announcement of the token currency. First of all, I would like to clear you what is token currency. Token currency is one in which the face value of a coin is much higher than its metallic value. For example, in case of 1 rupee silver coin, a value is also nearly equal to 1 rupee, but now if you compare the value of a rupee, it is much less than a rupee. So that is token money. Muhammad bin Tughlaq uh, wanted to increase his military power to conquer more and more territories. And not only this after the failure of this taxation project, he again thought of issuing token currency of copper instead of silver coins. Now the question here is, this people do not accept this project of changing silver coins into copper currency, and due to increased circulation of counterfeit coins, he had to withdraw this order and ask the people to exchange their coins with silver coins. This caused heavy loss to the royal treasury. Muhammad Tughlaq was a mixture of opposites. He was a great scholar but lacked common sense, and was harish as well as liberal. During his last days, he had to face many rebellions of different part of his sultanate. So that after Muhammad bin Tughlaq, we are going through Firoz Tughlaq. Firoz Tughlaq was a very famous, well-known ruler, sultan of the medieval period. This Firoz Muhammad Tughlaq had no son, and this Firoz Tughlaq was his cousin actually. And Firoz Tughlaq was made the sultan after his death. After becoming the sultan, he adopted the policy of appeasing the nobles who were not previously satisfied. He wanted to appease those nobles, ulemas and orthodox Muslims, to strengthen his position. So he was very clever, and to strengthen his position, he used to appease the nobles, and not only those nobles, he also appeased the ulemas and orthodox Muslims. For this he imposed jizya. Jizya is a tax on Hindus. It is a religious tax. So people, Hindu people who used to move to the religious places, they have to pay a tax named jizya. So this jizya is imposed on Hindus and granted land as well as he for this he imposed jizya on Hindus and granted land as well as high civil and military official position to the ulemas. He was a staunch Sunni Muslim by faith and he considered himself as a servant of God. He changed the policy of Alauddin Khalji and Muhammad Tughlaq to separating religion from the administration. So these two, the Alauddin Khalji and Muhammad bin Tughlaq, they separated these ulemas and mullahs from their administration. But this Firoz Tughlaq, he rejoined them. He honored them. Those ulemas and those mullahs were again included to the administration. He made many reforms to readdress the grievance of the people and had against Muhammad Tughlaq. He constructed many canals and tanks also. And then the old tanks were also repaired. Land revenue was reduced and markets were opened to sell the surplus produce. New coins of smaller domination were also introduced. That was a good idea. Then he opened schools and gave grants to the scholars to promote literary activities also. He helped the poor Muslims. He led 1200 fruit gardens around Delhi and founded new cities like Hisar, Jaunpur, Firozabad, Firozpur, etc. He got Sanskrit text translated into Persian. Means he wanted to make the people, the Muslim people, known about the culture of Hindus. That's why he got Sanskrit text translated into Persian language. Now comes Nasruddin Tughlaq in 1388 to 1412 CE. He was the last ruler of Tughlaq dynasty. So during this time, Timur Lenk invaded India and took away a large amount of wealth. Children, we have previously learned that many people came here to loot or invade India and they take away large amount of wealth. Likewise, Timur Lenk was a very famous, you can say, ruler as well as invader, and he took away a large amount of wealth from India. He also took with him many Indian artisans. So why did he done? Because to decorate his capital that is situated at Samarkand. The Sultanate lasted only up to 1412 CE after Timur's invasion, till Nasruddin died. Later on, it got divided into many small kingdoms. Now comes the name of Daulat Khan. We must remember this name. Daulat Khan was an Amir, was appointed as the ruler of Delhi. Now let's know about the Sayyid dynasty. Up to 1412 CE, it was the ruling time of Nasruddin Tughlaq. Then after that, for some time, nearly 2 years, his kingdom was divided into many small kingdoms. Now what happened in 1414? The Sayyid Khijr Khan attacked on Delhi and defeated Daulat Khan and founded Sayyid dynasty. 4 rulers of this dynasty ruled up to 1451 CE when Behlol Lodi attacked. Here came a new name of Behlol Lodi, who was the founder of Lodi dynasty. Lodi dynasty starts from 1451 to 1526 CE. Now comes the Behlol Lodi. Behlol Lodi was the founder and was able and competent ruler general of Lodi dynasty. He did not rule like a sultan, but a feudal lord. Feudal lord in North India, we have already learned about that the king used to give land to praise some army officers to the those officers were called feudal lords, and later on uh, they became like so powerful like kings, and that's why at that time these feudal lords are having much valuable position. So he never behave like a king, he rule or behave like a feudal lord, means samant. To please his nobles, he declared that he was one among them, means he was not the king, he was also like the other nobles. He never sat on a throne. He suppressed the revolt in Doab, annexed Jaunpur and number of other states to his kingdom. He was a religious person. His rule extended from Punjab to some parts of Bihar. Now comes the Sikandar Lodi, 1489 up to 1517 CE. Sikandar Lodi succeeded his father in 1489. He was generous towards the Muslim and ulemas also. He helped the poor Muslim and gave money to the poor widows for the marriage of their daughters. So Sikandar Lodi succeeded his father Bahlol Lodi. Sikandar Lodi's religious policy towards the Hindus was very rash and intolerant at that time. He destroyed temples and constructed mosques in their place. Means at the place of temples, he constructed mosques. He reimposed jizya on Hindus. Children, as jizya was imposed once, then it again was just removed and it was reimposed by him. This jizya, that was a religious tax. He founded the new city of Agra in 1506 CE and made it his capital and shifted the center of power from Delhi to Agra. Yes, Delhi was the previous capital, and the new capital made by Sikandar Lodi was Agra, and it was also founded by Sikandar Lodi. Agra is also founded by Sikandar Lodi. Then it was 1506 CE. So the capital was shifted from Delhi to Agra. Now the most famous name in Lodi dynasty in the medieval period of India, that is Ibrahim Lodi or Ibrahim Lodi, and the period was 1517 to 26 CE. This 1526 CE is very famous because of the interruption of Babur and the starting of Mughal imperialism in India. Let's know about Ibrahim Lodi. He became the Sultan after his father Sikandar Lodi. And he was an intelligent, able and brave ruler, but had to face many rebellions. He failed to subdue Rana Sanga of Mewar. So Rana Sanga, Rajput ruler. He replaced the old and senior military officers with young and brave officers, and this was his great fault that he committed at that time. And his motto was to strengthen his military power. That's why he replaced the old and senior military officers with young and brave officers, and this displeased many of the old nobles. The result was Daulat Khan, who was the governor of Punjab that time, rebelled and invited Babur. Yes, he was Daulat Khan who invited Babur to rule, the ruler of Kabul, to attack on India. Yes, it was Daulat Khan, the governor of Punjab. He was very unpleased with Ibrahim Lodi. What was the reason behind? Because Ibrahim replaced the old and senior military officers with young and brave officers, and this made Daulat Khan very much displeased. That's why he invited the ruler of Kabul named Babur to attack on India, and Babur invaded India and met Ibrahim Lodi in the Battle of Panipat. That Battle of Panipat in 1526 was very famous war. Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi, who was killed in the battle. This marked the end of Delhi Sultanate and the beginning of Mughal rule in India. So this was the whole story of Delhi Sultanate. So the last ruler of Lodi dynasty was Ibrahim Lodi, who was killed by the Mughal emperor, the ruler of Kabul, the founder of Mughal empirism was named Babur. Again in our next class, we will learn about the governance during the Sultanate period. Thank you, children.